I betrayed my trust with your boss, and my daughters covered it up. So I I served the divorce papers, disowned them, and revised my will. I suppose I'm pouring this out to strangers on the internet because there's literally no one left in my life to confide in right now. My world has shattered, and I'm struggling to process even half of it, but perhaps writing it down will help. Or maybe it won't. It doesn't matter anymore. My wife Camila and I shared nearly 30 years together. We started when she was 19 and I was 22. Two kids scraping by in a dingy apartment in downtown Sao Paulo that always reeked of the previous tenant's cats, no matter how much we scrubbed. We built everything from nothing, side by side. We had two daughters, Beatrice, 26, the brilliant one who graduated with honors and now holds a prestigious job, engaged to a finance executive named Raphael with a wedding planned for October, and Laura, 24, the free spirit drawn to art and creativity, always my little girl. Like any marriage, we faced rough patches. When the girls were young, money was tight. I labored in construction, often juggling two jobs, while Camilla waitressed in Villa Madalena and pursued her career. We'd argue over trivial things, but we'd always reconcile. That's marriage, isn't it? You stay and fight through the storms instead of walking away at the first sign of trouble. Lately, though, something felt off. Over the past few months, Camilla's behavior shifted in subtle ways. She'd become overly protective of her phone. Once, I casually picked it up to check the time, and she snatched it away, citing privacy and boundaries. Boundaries. After 30 years? Then there were the girls' nights with Beatriz and Laura, which suddenly escalated from once a month to every couple of weeks. When I asked about their outings, I'd get vague replies, just dinner or catching up. Camilla used to share every detail and gossip, but that stopped. About 6 months ago, I returned early from a business trip after a meeting was canceled. I walked in to find her on the phone, which she abruptly ended upon seeing me. She claimed it was Beatrice, but when I pressed, she deflected. Another time, I overheard Laura whispering to Camilla in the kitchen. Something about, "Do you think he knows?" They brushed it off as plans for later, insisting it was just a surprise. I wondered if it was for my upcoming birthday, but doubts lingered. One weekend, Camilla said she was visiting her sister in Florianopolis. I thought nothing of it until a conversation with Beatrice revealed Camilla had come back tanned. In February, there was a slight pause on her end, then a nervous laugh. We went to a tanning salon before her trip. It didn't sit right. Soon after, Camilla started dressing differently, buying new clothes, applying makeup more often, joining a gym in Italian BB 3 times a week, and purchasing an expensive silver bracelet she claimed was a professional reward. When I asked about the cost, she accused me of never caring. Untrue, as I'd always encouraged her to treat herself since we could afford it. I tried to convince myself I was overreacting, chalking it up to empty nest syndrome or the natural evolution of a 30-year marriage. People change, after all. I didn't want to be that jealous, controlling husband freaking out over nothing. But a nagging unease persisted, like I was missing something obvious. Then, on an ordinary Tuesday, everything unraveled. At work, overseeing a site in Sao Paulo, I checked my email during lunch and spotted a subject line that stopped me cold. "Your wife is cheating." I almost dismissed it as a scam, but curiosity won. The message was blunt. Camilla has been involved with her boss, Ricardo, for over a year. Everyone at the company knows except you. An attached video showed a company Christmas party with Camilla sitting intimately close to Ricardo. In the background, a tipsy woman I recognized from Camilla's office slurred about their affair. Everyone knows they've been at it for a year. Those business trips and lunch disappearances. Hell, he even bought that silver bracelet she wears. I sat in my truck for 20 minutes, staring at my phone, debating whether to watch. When I did, it felt like the ground vanished beneath me. The video confirmed my worst fears. I confided in my friend Joao that night, showing him the evidence. He was stunned. "What are you going to do?" he asked. I didn't know, but I needed more proof. I told Camilla I had an emergency at work and wouldn't be home for a couple of days. She barely reacted. That evening, she texted about her usual dinner with the girls. I followed her to the restaurant, only to find Beatrice and Laura there alone. When I messaged Beatrice asking if Camilla had arrived, she said yes. But our family tracking app told a different story. Camilla was across town at a fancy Italian spot, cozied up with Ricardo. I took photos through the window and sent them to our family group chat, including everyone from my parents to extended relatives. "Hope you're enjoying dinner with the girls. Camilla, it seems your boss is having a great time too." My phone erupted with notifications, but I ignored them, driving aimlessly to clear my head. When I finally returned home, they were all waiting in the living room, faces etched with worry. Beatrice asked what was going on. I handed Camilla my phone with the photos and video. The room fell silent as realization hit. "How long?" I demanded. Camilla whispered, 15 months. And my daughters? They'd been covering for her the whole time. Beatrice tried to rationalize it. "Mom was unhappy. You were always so absorbed in work." I couldn't believe it. "So that justifies the affair? Your lies?" Laura sobbed apologies, claiming it was temporary, but Camilla silenced her. I stood there, staring at the strangers before me, the women I'd built my life around, conspiring behind my back. What hurts most isn't just the betrayal, it's the deception. Sitting at the table with them, laughing, while they hid this massive secret. They made me feel like a fool. "We didn't want to hurt you," Laura murmured. "Well, mission failed," I replied coldly. "Now, it's over. I've lost everything that mattered. You failed. Spectacularly." The pain in their eyes sparked a flicker of remorse, but I was too furious to care. "What now?" Beatrice asked. Always the practical one, already thinking about the next move while I was still reeling from the bomb that had just detonated in my life. "Now," I said, my voice low, "I want all of you out of this house." "Dad, please," Laura begged. "We can talk about this. I know I messed up, but—" "Out!" I roared. "Seriously, all of you, out!" They left. Camilla and Beatrice practically had to drag a desolate Laura with them. The moment the door clicked shut, I collapsed onto the sofa, feeling as though my heart had been ripped from my chest and stomped into the ground. The house felt cavernous, suffocatingly silent. I walked through the living room, my eyes scanning the gallery of our family photos. I snatched the first one I saw, us, at Beatrice's graduation, and hurled it against the wall. The glass shattered. For a brief moment, it felt good. Then, the emptiness just deepened. I didn't sleep that night. I just sat on the sofa, staring into the darkness. My phone buzzed relentlessly with calls and texts from the three of them. I ignored every single one. What was there to say? The following days were a blur. I called in to work, telling my boss I had a family emergency. It wasn't a lie. I barely moved from the sofa. I didn't eat. I didn't shower. I just sat there, replaying every moment of the past year in my head, searching for the signs I'd missed. My friend Joao came by with food. I didn't touch it. He told me I should stay with him, that it wasn't good to be alone in a house filled with so many memories. But I couldn't move. I couldn't do anything. My phone never stopped. Camilla's messages cycled from remorseful. I'm so sorry. Please, let me explain. To angry. You're being childish. We need to talk about this like adults. And finally, to manipulative. I'm worried about you. Please, just let me know you're okay. I ignored them all. Camilla was nothing to me now. After everything I'd given to this marriage, after 30 years of sacrifice, hard work, and loyalty, she had thrown it all away for a cheap thrill. Fine, that was her choice. I hoped she and her boss were very happy together. I didn't care. But Beatrice and Laura, that was the real dagger to the heart. My own daughters. The girls I had raised, protected, and provided for. They were a part of it. They knew. And worse, they helped. They lied to me, covered for her. They looked me in the eye, sat across from me at the dinner table, and acted as if nothing was wrong. That betrayal. That was something I couldn't get past. A single text from Beatrice read, "What you're doing is unfair to everyone. Let me know when you're ready to have a mature conversation." So self-righteous. Acting as if I were the one at fault. I wanted to throw my phone against the wall. Laura's were different. She called constantly, leaving tear-filled voicemails. Dad, please, talk to me. I know I messed up. I just wanted to keep the family together. Mom said if I told you, you'd leave, and everything would fall apart. I'm so sorry. Please, don't hate me. Her messages were the hardest to ignore. She had always been my little girl. The one who used to bring me dandelions and call them flowers. The one who would fall asleep on my chest watching cartoons. But now, all I could see was her lying to my face, helping her mother betray me behind my back. After a week of this, Joao finally convinced me I needed to pull myself together. He was right. I couldn't just sit there, marinating in my own misery. I had to do something. I called a lawyer Joao recommended. With the evidence you have, you're in a very strong position, he said, after watching the video and seeing the photos. But you need to be smart. Don't move out of the house. That can be seen as abandonment. Don't empty the bank accounts, but transfer half the money to a separate account she can't touch. And document everything. I followed his advice to the letter. I stayed. I transferred the money. I changed the locks. I started documenting every interaction. One day, Camilla showed up with Beatrice, demanding I let them in to get their things. I recorded the entire exchange on my phone, standing firm in the doorway as they hurled insults at me. You can retrieve your belongings when my lawyer gives the authorization, I said calmly. This only made them angrier. My wedding is in 2 months, Beatrice screamed. Are you really going to ruin everything just because Mom made one mistake? A mistake is forgetting to pay a bill, I replied, my voice cold. What your mother did was a choice. A series of choices, made every single day for 15 months. And what you did was just as bad. I was protecting my family. No, you were protecting your mother's affair. There's a difference. They left, but before they did, Beatrice added, "I still expect you to pay for the wedding. You promised." The audacity of that girl. I just slammed the door in her face. It's been 2 weeks since I found out. I'm trying to keep going. I wake up, go to work, come home, stare at the walls, try to sleep, and repeat. Joao and a few other friends check in, invite me out for a beer or to watch a game. I almost always refuse. I don't have the energy to be social. Laura keeps trying to reach me. Calls, texts. She even showed up at my work once. I finally agreed to see her. I wasn't ready to forgive, but I was willing to at least listen. We met at a coffee shop. She looked haunted, with dark circles under her eyes, her hair unwashed, wearing a faded sweatshirt from high school. "I'm so sorry, Dad," she said the moment I sat down. "I know it doesn't fix anything, but I truly am." "Why didn't you tell me?" I asked. It was the question that kept me awake at night. "Mom said she was going through a midlife crisis," she mumbled, "that she just needed to get it out of her system. She said if you found out, you'd never forgive her. She said it would destroy our family. So instead, you destroyed my trust in you." Laura flinched as if I'd struck her. "I know it was wrong," she whispered, "but you were always working, Dad. Always on a job site. Always stressed about money. Mom." She felt lonely. She quickly added, "I'm not saying that makes it right. What she did was wrong. But maybe, if you had been around more, if you had talked to her more, if you'd noticed she was unhappy, there it was." Even in her apology, she was still blaming me. "I worked myself to the bone to give you and your sister everything," I said, my voice low. "To pay for your colleges, to make sure you had a nice house, good cars, vacations. If your mother was unhappy, she could have talked to me. She could have suggested therapy. She could have asked for a divorce. Instead, she cheated on me, and you helped her." "I know," she whispered. "I'm just trying to explain, not justify." I wasn't sure I believed her, but looking at her, so broken, I couldn't just get up and walk away like I'd planned. She was still my daughter, but I didn't know if I could ever trust her again. "I need time," I said. "I don't know if I'll ever be able to trust you like I used to." "I understand," she replied, wiping away tears. "Thank you for meeting me." As I watched her walk away, I felt torn between wanting to call her back and wanting to cut her out of my life forever. Meanwhile, the divorce is moving forward. Camilla is fighting for half of everything, including a retirement account I started long before we even met. She wants the house, alimony, everything. She claims she sacrificed her career for our family, even though she's been working full-time since Laura started school. To top it all off, Beatrice keeps sending me invoices for the wedding, deposits for the venue, payments for the florist, alterations for her dress. The nerve. I don't respond, but each new demand fuels my anger. One night, I got a message from Raphael, Beatrice's fiancé. He wanted to meet for coffee, said he wanted to understand what was really going on. When we met, he confessed that Beatrice didn't know he was there. She'd be furious if she found out. She had told him I was overreacting to a brief fling, that I'd kicked everyone out and was refusing to pay for the wedding out of spite. He'd believed her at first, but then he noticed Beatrice was acting strangely, like she was hiding something. So he started asking questions. I told him everything. The video, the 15 months of deceit, how both my daughters had covered for their mother. When I finished, Raphael was pale. He had no idea It was that serious. At that point, I was still trying to decide what to do about Beatrice and Laura. Cutting them out of my life completely felt drastic, but after what they'd done, could I ever trust them again? Rebuilding our relationship seemed impossible when I wasn't even sure they were truly sorry for what they did. The only thing I knew for certain was that Camilla and I were over. There was no coming back from that level of betrayal. So, I filed for divorce. Work became my refuge. I needed to keep earning, especially with the divorce threatening to ruin me financially. My team noticed something was wrong, but they didn't ask questions. When I got distracted or needed a moment, they just gave me space, and I was grateful for it. The divorce got ugly fast. Camilla's lawyer tried to paint me as a neglectful workaholic who pushed her away. My lawyer suggested we settle to avoid a long, drawn-out process, but I refused. It wasn't about the money anymore. It was about principle. Yesterday, Raphael called me again. He'd had a huge fight with Beatrice after our talk. He started questioning her about the affair, and she exploded, accusing him of taking my side and betraying her trust. The irony was staggering. "I'm having serious doubts about the wedding," he told me. "If she could lie about something this big, what else is she hiding?" Smart kid. "Someone who protects a cheater is a cheater themselves," I replied. "Someone who can justify lying to their own father for over a year can justify lying to anyone." Speaking of Beatrice, last week she sent me a novel-length email full of pop psychology nonsense about processing my feelings and working through my anger so we could heal as a family. As if we were all going to hold hands and sing Kumbaya after what they did. To add insult to injury, she had the gall to attach more wedding expense forms she needed me to sign. Laura has been different since our coffee meeting. She's backed off a little, sending a text every few days. Nothing pushy, just checking in. Asterisk. "Hope you're doing okay. Thinking of you. Love you, Dad." I don't usually reply, but I haven't blocked her number either. I don't know why. Maybe a part of me isn't ready to let her go completely. Shuao has been a rock through all of this. Last weekend, he convinced me to go fishing with him and some friends. It was the first time in weeks I'd gone hours without thinking about the chaos my life had become. Then my lawyer, Andre, called with some interesting news. It seems Camilla was trying to sell off some of our joint assets before the divorce was finalized. She'd let it slip to a mutual friend, along with the detail that she and her boss were planning a long trip to Europe as soon as this whole inconvenience was over. Unbelievable. Andre managed to get an emergency court order to freeze everything. A small victory. I still didn't know what to do about Beatrice and Laura. I loved them, but every time I started to soften, I remembered the lies, the fake girls' nights out, the way they covered for Camilla, tipping her off whenever I started asking questions. They had knowingly watched me be made a fool of for 15 months. They chose her affair over my right to the truth. Beatrice's wedding is approaching, and somehow she still expects me to walk her down the aisle. She even sent a manipulative text saying my issues with Mom shouldn't affect her special day, as if her wedding was the only thing that mattered, and not the family she helped destroy. I didn't reply. Anything I said would have involved telling her to go to hell. I thought about just leaving, selling the house, moving somewhere else, starting over. But that felt like letting them win, like I was the one who had done something wrong. And just when I thought things couldn't get any worse, life threw me another curveball. I was in a meeting with my lawyer, discussing the divorce, when he suggested we take a look at social media to see if there was anything that could help the case. I don't use that stuff, I said. Well, Camilla does, he replied, turning his laptop toward me. And you might want to see this. It was Camilla's Facebook page. There was a post from a few days ago, a photo of her, Ricardo, and Beatriz at a fancy restaurant. The caption read, "So blessed to be surrounded by love as we unite our families. Ricardo made it official. Wedding planning for us after we helped Beatriz with hers. Hash engaged." Engaged. The divorce wasn't even final, and they weren't even trying to hide it, and Beatrice was there with them, celebrating the very relationship that had destroyed our family. In the comments, she had written, "So happy for you both. Can't wait to celebrate 2 weddings." I felt like such a fool. Here I was, still picking up the pieces of my life. And this was the final, shattering blow. In that moment, something inside me just broke. All the grief, the betrayal, the months of self-doubt, it all coalesced into a cold, hard certainty. Everything crystallized. It settled into a cold, hard clarity. I want to change my will, I told my lawyer, Andre. I want Camilla to receive nothing more than what the law absolutely requires. And I want Beatrice and Laura removed as beneficiaries. Andre looked at me, surprised. Are you certain? This is a significant step. I'm certain, I said, my voice firm. They made their choices. Now, I am making mine. When I arrived home that evening, I received a call from Raphael. He had just broken up with Beatrice. He'd found messages between her and Camilla, planning how to manipulate me into paying for the wedding. They had an entire strategy mapped out. How Beatrice would make me feel guilty. How they would use mutual friends to pressure me. Everything. You were right about her, he said, his voice heavy. I'm sorry, sir. I just thought you needed to know. I thanked him, feeling a pang of sympathy for the kid. He had dodged something worse, but still, it must have hurt. Later, a call came from Laura. She was crying so hard I could barely understand her. She'd had a massive fight with Camilla and Beatrice after discovering the engagement and the social media posts. They didn't even tell me, she sobbed. I I found out on Facebook. And when I asked Mom how she could get engaged when you two aren't even divorced yet, she told me I needed to grow up and accept reality. Beatrice, of course, took their mother's side, telling Laura she was being childish and dramatic. For a moment, a sliver of hope sparked within me. Maybe Laura was finally seeing the truth. But then she said, I just don't understand why. Why can't you two just try to fix things? Why does everyone have to be so extreme? Mom made a mistake, but I cut her off. 15 months is not a mistake, Laura. Neither is lying to my face every single day for all that time. Those were choices. Choices that all of you made. I know, she said quickly. I know. I'm not defending what she did or what I did. I miss how things used to be. Things were never the way you thought they were, Laura, I replied. It was all a lie, and it's over. What do you mean it's over? She asked, her voice laced with fear. I mean I'm moving on, with my life. She started crying harder. Dad, please. I know I messed up. I know I did. But I'm trying. I really am. It's too late, I said. I changed my will. You and Beatrice are out. There was complete silence on the other end of the line. You what? You heard me, I said. I met with my lawyer today. Everything goes to my brother now. But Dad, you can't do that. It's not fair. I can, and I did. You all made your choices. Now, I've made mine. She hung up. I waited to feel a wave of guilt, but instead, I felt lighter, as if I had finally cut loose an anchor that had been dragging me to the bottom for months. The next day, all hell broke loose. Beatrice bombarded me with messages, calling me bitter, vengeful, and cruel. Camilla had her lawyer contact Andre about my retaliatory actions. Even a few mutual friends reached out, telling me I was being too harsh, that I should consider reconciliation for the sake of the family. I let them all talk, and for the first time in months, I slept through the entire night. No dreams of how things used to be, no waking up with that familiar knot in my stomach, just a quiet, uninterrupted sleep. That's when I realized it. The family I thought I had never really existed. It was just an illusion. And maybe that was okay. Maybe it was better to live in a painful truth than in a comfortable lie. Here's the final update. It's been 5 months since everything fell apart. The divorce is finalized, thanks to Andre's incredible work and all the evidence we gathered. Camilla didn't get nearly what she wanted. She walked away with a bit of money in her car, but not the house, and not my retirement. She and Ricardo got married 2 weeks after the divorce was final. Classy. I sold the house. Too many memories, good and bad. I bought a smaller place, closer to work, in a quiet neighborhood of São Paulo. It's nothing fancy, but it's mine. No ghosts, no lies. After I changed the will, and Laura found out, she showed up at my door the next day, crying, begging me to reconsider. She said she would do anything to fix things. I told her I appreciated the sentiment, but my decision was final. When she saw I wouldn't budge, something in her shifted. She became serious, then cold. "So that's it?" she asked. "30 years of family, and you just throw it all away?" "I didn't throw anything away," I replied. "You all did when you decided to lie to me for over a year." She left. I haven't heard from her since. It seems she moved in with Camilla and Ricardo. One big, happy family. Beatrice got married last month to a doctor she met right after Raphael broke up with her. I wasn't invited. I didn't expect to be. I heard from mutual friends that Ricardo walked her down the aisle. That stung for a minute. And then I realized I didn't actually care. The thing about cutting toxic people out of your life is that at first, it hurts like hell. But then, you start to notice how much lighter you feel, how much more energy you have, how everything seems clearer. I've been seeing someone for about 2 months. Let's call her Mariana. We met at a friend's barbecue. She's divorced too, so she understands the emotional baggage that comes with it. We're taking it slow, but it's good. Really good. She knows my whole story and doesn't judge me for cutting ties with my daughters. She gets it in a way most people can't. Her ex cheated on her with her own sister. So, she knows exactly what family betrayal feels like. I miss Beatrice and Laura sometimes. Usually when I see a father having dinner with his adult daughters in a restaurant, or when I hear a song they used to like, or on their birthdays. But it's more a longing for the idea of them. For the daughters I thought I had. The real ones. The ones who lied to my face for months. I don't miss them at all. A few weeks ago, I ran into Raphael at a sports bar. He's doing well, seeing someone new. He told me Beatrice had contacted him, saying she'd made a huge mistake and wanted another chance. He turned her down. Welcome to the club. He said the whole ordeal taught him something important about self-respect, about not letting people treat you like you don't matter. Hearing that meant a lot. At least one good thing came out of this whole disaster. Last week, I finalized my new will with my lawyer. Most of my assets will go to my brother and his children, who have been my rock through all of this. I also set up a small scholarship fund at the local community college for a construction management program. I figured I could at least help some young people who would actually value the opportunity. Mariana and I are talking about moving in together next year. We're taking it slow, but the direction feels right. She makes me laugh. She calls me out when I need it. And best of all, she doesn't have a single relative who has stabbed me in the back. A definite improvement. Sometimes, people ask if I regret cutting Beatrice and Laura out of my life completely. They say things like, but they're your daughters, or family is forever, or some other greeting card platitude. My answer is always the same. Family isn't just about blood. It's about trust, respect, loyalty. Things my daughters proved they know nothing about. Maybe one day, one of them will have a genuine realization about what she did, a true moment of remorse without excuses or blame shifting. Maybe pigs will fly too. I'm not holding my breath for either. What I've learned through all this is that you can't control what other people do. You can only control how you react. Camila chose to betray me. Beatriz and Laura chose to enable and support her. And I chose to walk away from all of them. The hardest part wasn't the affair itself. As devastating as it was the realization that my own daughters, the people I would have done anything for, were capable of betraying me. That they could look me in the eye and lie, day after day, help shatter my heart, and then blame me for not being happy about it. But here's the key. Once you accept that the people you loved were not who you thought they were, you can start building a life that's real. Not based on lies, not based on false obligations, but on genuine connections with people who truly care about you. So yes, I'm doing better than I ever imagined I would be. It's not the life I planned, but it is my life. An honest life. And that's worth more than any family built on lies.